Good morning, everybody. I love it when we get to introduce new companies and suppliers to you. So as you can see on the screen, we have got a brand new supplier. We are talking A1 Creative. So what we're going to be doing here is bring you something that is totally new. And that's the whole point. We like to get you excited. Someone who's definitely going to get you very excited in a crafty sense is our lovely Kathryn. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hey, we have not seen each other, it feels like, in months.
It is months.
How have you
It is
been?
months because we're on different shifts. So the only time I see you now is if I'm guesting on your shift.
True. Your hair looks great.
Thank you. I didn't get a chance to do it this morning though, Yanis. Oh,
Hey, no,
early
come
start,
on.
early start.
Oh, well, early start. Lovely to see you, Kathryn. what I love, and we all know, little shout out to Kathryn's group that just seems to grow every day. Bleak to Unique, and it's a way, it's just on Facebook, free group, open to everyone, and it gives you an opportunity to look around your home and turn something that has been seen better days into something incredible. But this is the kind of show that I know you get excited about, Kathryn.
I certainly do. I love this product, and I've got to say, Yanis, that it wasn't supposed to be me demonstrating today, actually. A lovely lady called Leony was supposed to be coming over from the Netherlands. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to travel because of current conditions. So I was asked if I would step in with quite short notice. So it does mean that I haven't had a lot of time to play. So I've only had a couple of days to sort of play with this and sort of test it out. So I want to be able to tell you the do's and don'ts of what I've found, because I want to be very, very honest about the product, but I'm loving the product.
What's interesting, we were having a bit of chat, and I say, and thank you to Kathryn, because she did step in last minute. We're going to be speaking to Leony in just a moment, but Kathryn was saying, and this is what I picked up on, it's the kind of product where she's saying she's going to carry on using it after the show, and she can't wait to discover new ways to get the most out of it. Someone who definitely knows how to get the most out of it is the lovely Leony, I'm going to speak to right now. Leony, I believe you're on the line. Hello.
Hi.
Well, Leony, I have to say, that looks incredible where you are on home base. It looks really nice. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
I have a lot of stuff here. Very nice.
Well, welcome to the family, first and foremost, and hopefully we will see you live at Hochanda when it's safe to do so. Tell us a little bit about A1 Creatives, because I know Kathryn was telling me that you do so many exciting things.
Okay, well, A1 Creatives is a product that you can use for making your nameplate, like this, for instance, or you can make little samples and put them on a birdhouse like this one.
Lovely.
Or I don't know if this is in
no,
if you can see this.
There we go. If you just
but
push
it's
it on
a
a bit
game
more.
board. You can make your own game, or you just I'll take this one.
Yeah.
Bring it on your cards.
Lovely.
Because
So,
it's little, and you just can stick it on. So that's very nice.
what I would say, and
like it.
this is where I think it's I haven't seen anything like this before, Leony, is it's actually a resin powder with colours. And then suddenly that affords so many different possibilities. What really blew me away is the finish, because you've got the stone-like effects, the graphite. This is a sandstone effect, but the actual touch, Leony, to touch it, it has that stone-like feel. There's a coolness to it. I would, if you just gave me that, I would have said that was sandstone. Still there, Leony?
Oh, do I answer? Yeah, okay. I'm sorry.
That's okay, don't worry.
First time, you
Don't
never
worry.
know.
You're doing great.
Yeah, it feels really like stone. That's true, and it's cold. That makes it real nice. You can make a lot of beautiful things.
Yeah,
that's true.
We're going to be showing this out. Quick question for you, because I'm looking at a lot of this and I'm thinking how great it would be for makes that we put outside. Can we put it outside? Do we need to put a sealant on it? And the only reason I raise that question is Kathryn was just showing me some of the makes you've done on a larger scale, and they are absolutely phenomenal. So can these go outside is my question, or do we need to seal them?
Yes, they can go outside, but of course it's better to seal them, and that's why we have the sealer.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
And if you bring it on, it gives a more protection for outside.
All right. I'm not sure if we have the sealer on the show on this occasion, but hopefully it's something that we do bring in the future. But if we were to say put it outside without the sealer, is it okay, or would you say no, really wait until you get hold of the sealer?
Well, it's possible, it's okay, but it's better with the sealer, of course.
Yeah.
Because it gets, well, from the weather influence, it gets a little dirty or something, then the sealer gives a better protection. But
that makes sense.
Yes, you can bring it outside.
Okay. Now, something else to point out, mixture ratios, and I know Kathryn's been on your website to see those mixture ratios, because it's a different mixture ratio with the colours, I'm right in saying.
Yeah, that's true. That's maybe a little difficult, but for the and I have to see for the gold, silver, bronze, and all the colors and the graphite, it's just 1 to 2. Right. So 1 part liquid and 2 parts powder. So if you go for 50 grams of liquid, then it's 100 grams of powder. Right. And then there are a few different ones. The iron and aluminium. I don't know, aluminium. That's how you say it, right?
Yeah, aluminium,
Okay, these two are 1 to 2.5. So that means if you have the 50 gram of the liquid, you take 125 of the powder.
Okay.
And then we have another one. It's concrete and the white stone. And they come to 1 to 3.
Right.
So 1 part liquid, 3 parts powder. So if you take 50 again from the liquid, then it's 150 from the powder.
And we can
the last one is the sandstone, and that's 1 to 3.5, and that means 50 to 175. But everything you can see on A1 Creatives on the website, and on every package there is a sign. And then it gives you
it's a QR code.
The ratio of the mixing, so that will help.
Just to show,
you won't have to.
There is a little QR code on the packaging, so if you scan that with your smartphone, it takes you straight to the website and you can see the ratios. Leony, it's been an absolute pleasure. We're going to get to the demonstrations, but as I say, I hope we get to see you here when it's safe to do so. It will be lovely to have you over and see you in action.
That would be nice.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you for chatting to us. We'll speak soon. Bye, Leony.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, Leony's lovely. So, okay, we're already getting busy for this. It's something different. And where it's such a joy being a presenter at Hochanda is discovering new mediums, because we say we're the home of crafts, hobbies and arts, and we really do mean that. And something people, it's so nice. I mean, the feedback that we get from a lot of viewers, and I've heard it, I know Kathryn hears this all the time, is so many of you have taken inspiration from Hochanda and saying that watching Hochanda is taking you to that next level as a crafter. So if you have just tuned in, what we try and do is bring you something that you may not necessarily be aware of. I'll be honest, before doing the show, I had never seen anything like this before. We know about resins. We've got some molds, and look, there is a one-day special coming up with the Zuri molds next week. Yeah, Kathryn's like, we can use our resin in the molds. Have a look at that. It is absolutely breathtaking. But what strikes me using the resin and the effects you're able to achieve, it's the weight, the feel, the texture, everything about it is phenomenal. So the finishes you get are extraordinary. We've got lots to afford you. So what I'm going to do, go through the options, and the best way to really appreciate how good this is to see it in action with Kathryn. So let's start here. £12.49. You've got your A1 Creatives mineral and resin component set. So this is your metallic effects. You choose the options, whether you wanted to go for your bronze, your silver or your gold, which you can see there. So they are separate options. You've got your pot, and then you've got your color, and the ratio for the colors are, it's 1 to 2. So if 50 grams of, no, it's not.
No, you're right. Yeah. But there's something else that you're not aware of that's included with those.
Oh, go on.
You get, with those metallics, you get a pot of powder as well, and it is hidden. I'm going to show this when I do a demo. It's hidden inside the powder pot, so it's like a mica. Yeah. So you get that included with those metallics as well. Oh. So cheeky. I'm presuming it's still hiding in the pots.
Oh yeah, I can see it. There is. It is, isn't it? I'll let Kathryn show that to you. She's got it open. So not only, and thank you so much, Kathryn, for saying that. So we've got our colour in there. There is mica inside in an individual pot, smaller pot, and then you've got your resin powder there as well. So that composite, it's a mineral and resin composite, and that is what achieves the weight, the feel. I'm just going to pick this up. So let's say you have and there are beautiful moulds on the market. Imagine making something like that. That is your silver. But what strikes me, Kathryn, the weight.
Yes, and what's important about this product as well, Yanis, is that it is a water-based resin.
Yeah.
So that is unusual.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's environmentally friendly.
Oh, that's good.
You know, it's not going to be damaging to your skin. You can wear gloves when you use it. I won't be, but that's just my choice. If you want to do that, you can. I'll give you all these details at demonstration. But environmentally, it's very friendly for us as well. But water-based resin is unusual.
I've never seen water-based.
Yeah.
One thing that strikes me as well, Kathryn, this is the gold. I mean, the detail, it's so crisp and clean.
It really is. And when you see, I've got some little samples from the Zuri molds as well, which has got the finest intricate detail, and it has picked up every bit. Now, you'll notice with that one, you can see that little bit more of a sheen on there. That is because of the powder that's included.
Okay, and again, that is in the pot, and we will see that. So, 3 different options: your bronze, your silver, your gold. They are your metallic collection. You're getting your mineral and resin composite powder, you're getting your colour, and then you're getting your mica for $12.49. How much? Oh, I've got to point out as well, because it's obviously coming from abroad, there is a delayed dispatch. So it's going to be dispatched from the 27th of July, just the time it takes to come from the Netherlands to us. Quick question for you. If you went to a shop, I'm going to ask Kathryn. Kathryn, if we went to a shop and just bought one of this made up, so what I've got in my hands, I mean, you'd pay a lot more than $12.49 just for that.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I've seen that sort of thing in garden centres, you know, for your garden and to hang on the wall or to put on plaques. It's difficult to put a price on it, but most definitely way above the £12.49.
207 763 item number. One thing you can't put a price on, though, as crafters, is discovering a new way of working, a new medium that really will get you excited, and this is exactly what we're doing there on this hour. Okay, we're going to move on. We've got, these are your stone effects. The finish are incredible, and I don't say that lightly. We've got various options for you. There you can see the sandstone, white stone, I apologise. So the white stone, 20% of the white stone's already gone. Are you kidding? Then we've got here, that's your sandstone, which I'll show. I'm going to go through all of these. Down here, you see the concrete and the graphite. Okay, so let me just going to go through and show you. This is the this is your sandstone. It's not the white stone, the sandstone. That is phenomenal. Do you know what it looks like to me? If I was, if Kathryn had just given me this and asked me what is it, I would have said it was a stone. The finish, because remember, you have got that mineral and the resin composite to it. And when I say it feels like stone, it's got the coolness to the touch. If you've ever touched, I'm not saying this is marble, I'm just trying to use the example. If you've ever touched marble, you know how in hot countries it keeps its coolness to it. The finish, the smoothness to it. I am blown away by that. So there's your sandstone. You've got your graphite here, and it's such a beautiful graphite. Look at that. So that's your graphite example. Then we have our concrete, just down here. There's your concrete. Then we have another one. Do we have iron on the show? Do we have the iron one? Oh, it's further down. Okay, sorry, I apologise. That's the iron one. All right, I haven't got the example for the white sand. Sorry, not white sand, the white stone there, but similar to the sandstone. Have we got an example of the
I've got one.
In fact, okay, I can't reach across. If you just show it, that's okay. If you just show everyone, sorry, Kathryn, we've got to be good.
And this is from one of the Zuri molds as well, so you can see the detail that we've got on here as well.
We're just getting that now. So there
you go.
Kathryn.
Look at that. So that is your white stone.
With the Zuri mold?
It is with the Zuri mold. It's picked up every single bit of detail. I've got more examples to show you when we get to demo. And as I say, the do's and don'ts that I've found.
Okay. And we will be talking through that. Okay, there are your options there. $12.49. You are picking whichever speaks to you. So the white stone, the sandstone, the concrete, or the graphite. Right, we're going to move on. We have got more options that you can see. I think we're actually going to be going to Kathryn to see demonstration, and then we're going to be recapping, because you really need to see how this works to get an idea. Kathryn, I'm going to hand over to you.
Thank you very much. Right, okay, so there are some colours available as well, which we've not shown you yet, and I'm going to start with the colours actually. So lots of colours available, different ratios for mixing again, as Leony did explain there. I've got my list, I printed this out from the website. If anybody's buying this and they want to contact me afterwards, I can help with that if you're struggling to get hold of the details on the website or you haven't got that information to hand. Right, now something that's important is you need some weighing scales, because this is done by weight. Now I've just got, let me just find a fresh plastic cup. I would advise using a plastic cup. Now mine are quite large. They were the only ones I could get hold of locally yesterday for today. I would have preferred smaller ones, but as long as I've got a plastic cup, that's fine. I can work with that. Now my scales, as I turn them on, if they're going to behave themselves, are going to go to 0 as I set them, which they have. I don't know if you can see, I can't move the cup because it'll change it. I'll just move that back a little bit. That's really what's in the centre. Anyway, it's to 0.
If you move the cup up, Kathryn, I think it'll still give a reading. There you go, and we might be able to see. I don't know if
it. Hopefully you can see the 0 there. Right, so I've chosen to go for magenta as my colour. It's nice to have the colours, because obviously if you want something that's ready done, it's there for you, but that doesn't mean you can't add your other mediums as well. So we're talking about your different paints, your metallic paints, your acrylic paints, your waxes, all those things can be used as well. But it is lovely to have those colours already there for you. So with the magenta, it is a colour, and I can tell you that the ratio for all the colours, without the sandstone effects or the golds, the metallic ones, the ratio will be 1 part liquid to 2 parts powder. Now the worst thing that I'm a little bit thrifty, I'm from Yorkshire, I don't want to mix too much all in one go and have waste. There's no reason to waste any of this, because if you've got small moulds, then use any leftover bits from a larger mould perhaps in those smaller moulds. But there is a way, of course, that you can, if you just want to mix for one particular mould, that you can test that and find out what you need to mix. So the easiest way, this is just I don't even know where this came from, I've had it a long time, just took it out of the packet this morning actually. It's quite a floppy mould, it's not one we've sold here. I don't know where it came from. I think it was donated at some time, but I thought I'd bring it in. It's quite a nice design. If I wanted to fill that with water and then weigh that, that's going to give me a guide as to the amount of liquid. Obviously, you've got the powder to go in as well, but it's going to give me a bit of a guide. But what I'm going to do is add just 15 grams of the liquid. Now, what I can tell you, if you want to mix a full batch, I've just gone over there a little bit, so I'll bear that in mind. If you want to mix a full batch, the powders and the liquids have been put together in their containers. If you want to mix the whole lot in one go, it's already worked out for you, so you don't have to worry. But you see, I don't want to do that. I just want to change different colours every time I use a mould. I want to do it my way. So 15 grams is what we're looking at there. Now, because it's 2 parts powder, that would mean 2 times 15, that's 30. Now, because I've got my 15 already on the scales,
45.
Then obviously it's going to make it 45, because 30 of the powder and the 15 I've already got. And I've just gone over a little bit there. I'm not watching what I'm doing. It's because I brought my big wooden spoon, Yanis. Do you know what? Don't ever put it back into the pot. But what I'm just going to do is place that bit of powder there, just to make sure that we haven't got too much. Right, that will be fine. And then I'm going to use the end of my wooden spoon for mixing. So you can use a plastic spoon, you can use a wooden spoon. I did at home, I used a metal spoon, but be warned, it will stick to your spoon. You can get it off afterwards, but don't use your best spoons. If you've got something, plastic's a good one, and a plastic container, because you can clean that out and use it again as well.
That's mixing very nicely.
It does mix very, very nicely, so it's quite runny. You know, it is quite runny, but what we haven't mentioned yet is, and it will depend on the mould, you can actually demould from some moulds within 20 to 60 minutes, whereas normally with a resin, you're looking at 24 hours.
One thing though that, Kathryn, I know you're really keen to get across, when Kathryn says you can demould, it's more, if you look at, say, the owls that I've got in my hand, that is a chunky mould. So something like that, absolutely, you could demold in the 20 to 60 minute time frame. Say a thinner detailed mould, you've got to leave that longer because there is more chance of that maybe breaking if you were to take that out too soon. So maybe leave that for the 24 hours.
Definitely, and I will show you examples of that because, as I say, I've tried and tested everything. So just using this mould here, I am just going to pour this, and you can see it's quite runny, but this is going to start to thicken quite quickly. My plan is, I don't know, we'll see how we go. 20 to 60 minutes. So it gives me an hour. We haven't got an hour, that's for sure. We've got 20 minutes. We will see if we can demould.
Maybe in the second mould?
We've got another hour coming up. We certainly have got another hour coming up. I've just poured that into there, and I can see that's nicely filled. I will not waste anything out of that cup. Now,
would you have to any corn flour or anything in there?
Not in a silicone mould, no. Now I am lifting this up and I'm tapping it. Now because this is quite floppy, it's not the best mould for me to be demonstrating with at the moment, but just make sure that you tap it to get rid of any air bubbles. If you need to, and I don't really need to on this, but if you need to sort of clean up with a spatula, just scrape across the top, you can do. You just want to make sure that there's no air bubbles in there. The Zuri moulds for tapping are great because they're much firmer.
A lot sturdier, yeah.
But just as an example to show you how to mix, I've just done this one, and I am going to put that to one side and let that be drying off. And because I've got a little bit left over, I'm just going to bring in one of the Prima moulds that many of you may have. Yeah. Because we have had these on the shows.
Right. I know that Anthony was here last week actually with the one-day special from Prima.
Yes. So this is why I wanted smaller cups, you see, because I've got a long way to scrape to the bottom here. So I'm just using my spatula just to get out some more of that resin. And being the type of design that I've got here, it doesn't matter if this one isn't totally filled, to be honest with you, because, you know, the detail is in the bottom of it. Okay, so now if I was at home, I know I could get even more out of that and I wouldn't waste it. I really wouldn't. Yeah. But this is also a way of testing the resin when it's set as well, because that will dry in the cup, and then that means that you sort of flex the cup and you can see that will flake away. You can see how dry the resin is, and also I found a way of using all the flakes that are spare from the cup as well. I'll come back to that a little bit later. Okay. So we'll leave that there. Again, a little tap. This one's a bit firmer, this mould, it's not as floppy. So I'm giving that a little tap just to make sure there's no air bubbles in there. Do you know what you can do as well, but I would let this dry a little bit. If you want to clean up your mould a little bit with a damp cloth, you can. You don't need to. I just a little bit of a, you know, I like to see it a little bit neater so I know I've got that crisp edge when it comes out. But that, again, we'll just put to one side to be drying. So that is the colours. That's one of the colours. That's magenta. If I just bring in, I did do one beforehand, same colour. I did this just before the show, and this is what I mean about flexing the cups. You can see that all those bits are just going to come away. So you can reuse your plastic
media
cups.
Pieces, amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You could break these up. I mean, these are still not fully cured because I've literally only did these 10 minutes before the show. Yeah. But you mix that into your different mediums, use it for texture, you can gesso over the top, you can add your sprays, you can add all sorts of different things. So don't waste.
No.
Don't waste.
Well, when you start thinking, I know we've got, say, the iron on the show, you imagine that flaked, the wonderful iron effect flaked out, so exactly what Kathryn's shown you, but with the rusty effects on there, or the copper would, I think, work and serve just as well. But yeah, options, brilliant. Sorry, Kathryn.
No, that's fine, that's fine. So we've done the basics there. I'm trying to think if there's anything I've not told you about. Another colour, actually, just to show you some of the samples. This one is the terracotta, which is lovely, and that does look like terracotta, doesn't it?
Terracotta, okay, that is a game changer. Yeah. Because think about, in the garden, we talked about you can put these outside. Leony said there is a sealer, maybe in the future we might bring it to you, but you can still put these outside without the sealer. You
can. Actually, you've reminded me of something very, very important that I need to mention there as well, Yanis, and that is do not, I don't think you'll ever want to do this, but if you've mixed something and you've got leftover, do not ever pour it down your sink.
No, well, of course.
Because it will still harden in water, so you will block your sink. I mean, we're not likely to do that because we want to use what we've mixed. But just remember that if you get it on your skin, if you want to wash your moulds afterwards, fine in soapy water, that's not an issue. It's just the product itself, if it's in a thick form, if it's in quantity.
Okay.
Totally safe. As I say, you can use gloves. I mean, I've got some colour on my hands, that's fine. Wash off with soapy water. Really, you should protect your clothing, because if it gets on your clothing, it will stick. I'm just taking a risk. I'm covered in dots anyway, so what's a few more going to matter? But what I'm going to show you as well is the detail. And we have talked, Yanis, about demoulding 20 to 60 minutes. You're quite right with those chunky pieces there, because they haven't got any tiny little bits like leaves and curls on hair and that sort of thing. They're nice solid pieces, really chunky. You could demould those in between 20 and 60 minutes without any issue. They will still continue to cure for up to 24 hours. They won't be totally cured, but you can demould them. So you can reuse that mould. You will find that whatever surface you put them on, you will find moisture comes, because while they're curing, they're going to release that moisture. So that's the point. But what about those really intricate thin moulds? And this is where I really wanted to test things out. So what I've got here, this is sandstone, which is one of my favourites that I've tried actually. I haven't got through all of the colours, I'll be totally honest with you, but the sandstone is beautiful. Really lovely.
Mould. And you know, you talked about the detail, Kathryn. I'm seeing it now, and I've actually seen it with the naked eye. That is
it's incredible. It really is. Now, we're looking at the overhead there. I don't know, will we get even more detail from the camera at the front if I just hold this up? This was demoulded after 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
20 minutes. Look at the detail. Every single bit of detail is there. Now, what I will tell you is, now nobody looking at that would probably spot it, I did lose a couple of little curls from feathers. I'm going to be totally honest about everything, because there's no point in doing this otherwise. So one or two little feathers did break, but you can't really tell, so I was quite happy with that. I would suggest, though, leave it longer than 20 minutes for something as detailed as that.
This
and
is the kind of product, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, what I would do is, in the evening, before you go into bed, pour the moulds, put them to one side, and then go to bed, and then the next day you've got no temptation touching, let them cure for as long as possible, and then you don't have to worry. Unless you're in a rush. If you're in a rush, it's showing that you can, if you're maybe a little bit impatient, you can do it sooner. And that's the thing, with resin, I've never seen resin that you can do that with in the past. Normally, you have to leave it a good 24 hours, and remember, this is a water-based product, so it's very safe, it's environmentally friendly for you. And with that quick drying, you have got those options. I mean, I've brought all sorts of different moulds with me. I'm going to use another one. I don't know if we need a break first, Shanice, just to sort of do the rest of the items, and I'll get ready. Everyone?
Okay.
Okay, sounds like a plan. Really got to thank Kathryn, because she, unfortunately, we saw Leony, and it's not our Leony, it's Leony from A1 Creatives, who's in Holland, and she desperately wanted to come over and do the show, but with the current climate, she wasn't able to do that. And so Kathryn kindly stepped in to guest this out. She hasn't had the products for very long, but already you can see how excited she is about it. And I know that she's going to be playing with it and discovering more very quickly. Bleaked and Unique on Facebook. It's a group that Kathryn set up for anyone to join and share your makes. If you've and we are having a very busy show. If you've got anything on the show, I know Kathryn would love to see what you are going to be using it for. Let's have a look here. So you've got different colorways as well. Exactly the same principle. You are getting that mineral and resin composite and the color ratio. So different colors coming through. Here we've got our blue. Then you've got your yellow, so real primary colors. You've got your red. This is your magenta, which Kathryn was just using. I love the colors. But where I really start to get excited is terracotta is amazing. Quarter of the stock's gone here with the terracotta. I'm massively backing the terracotta. When I saw that finished example from Kathryn, I was like, yes. We also have in there your ochre. There we go. So I was just reading that upside down. There's your ochre. And then we have our orange down there. So let me just show you some examples. There is the blue. So a bit of colour. Or maybe you want to go for, I'm still trying to find the, we've definitely got an iron option here, or have we just got the iron sample? Oh, it's the next one. Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm going to move this down. Every time I'm teasing this iron, they're just like there. It's down there. Okay, so there are your choices. I never sit on the fence. If I was at home, two that have jumped out I love them all. I've really got to stress that, but I understand we're not going to be buying them all. Terracotta 100% would be going in my basket. Also the sandstone I think is incredible. It really is. Well, I know I've just jumped back to the sandstone, but it is, can I just show everyone, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be doing this because I know we're going down the counter. Look at the sandstone, but the one thing you will not be able to appreciate, it's the touch and the feel. So in a mold, if you're going to take on a character, if I just lift this up, I'm so sorry. There we go. So think about this, because I love ancient statues. You know, you go to museums, you use a sandstone and a little figurine, it will look like a beautiful sort of Greek or Roman statue. It will give that feel to it. Stunning. Okay, going to pop that down. And we are busy at the moment, so thank you so much. And I know we're going to be getting back to Kathryn in just one moment, I promise. Okay, now having a look. This is the iron. Okay, this is your metal effects. We'll bring up the details for the iron. Look at this. With regard to the iron, it's incredible, the feel. Now this is another one with the iron. You can get, depending on how you use it, you can get a deeper, richer tone for the iron as well. $14.99 your price. The weight, that's one thing that I was really shocked by, is the weight, and that is down to the composite with the powder. So you've got a resin and mineral composite, so you have got that iron composite in there. $14.99 your price. You are getting the color, and you're also getting the obviously the resin and mineral composite in there. Now we have another option as well. This is your aluminium. Just showing you there. We do have, there we go, so both all the options. This is your starter set. Now this is, okay, so let's think about the starter set. You've got in there the gold, you've got concrete, you've got graphite, and you've got sandstone. So, I mean, all best sellers this hour at the moment. $48.46, you're saving £4. This is busy. One thing I will tell you, over a quarter of the stock's gone, and this is only, like, we're only halfway through the first show. The thing is, with this, you will definitely use the gold. The concrete is incredible. The iron is amazing. The graphite is fantastic in there. So you're getting all those. Now, I think I misspoke. I think I said sandstone was in there, and it's not. So apologies. You're not getting the sandstone in there. You're just getting what you see on the screen. So that was my mistake. $48.46 is your price. 914788 your item number. Okay, so you've seen everything. We are busy for everything. I'm going to hand you back to Kathryn.
Thank you very much. Right, hopefully I can get two more sort of mould demos in. I definitely want to do the gold because I want to show you the powder as well. And I've not actually used the gold yet, so I'm opening it for the first time. But the white stone is another favourite, and I'm just checking on my list. Just thinking while you were talking there as well, Yanis, because you did mention my group, I'm going to post on all my pages on Facebook the ratios for all of the different powders, so if anybody wants to get those, they can. It's very simple, it's not really that confusing, you've just got to make sure you get the ratios right.
Kathryn, white stone's just gone limited.
Oh,
could you show the white stone, the finished one, just so everyone can see?
I certainly can. So the white stone, this is white stone, which is absolutely amazing in detail. And could we then colour that if we wanted? We can. I'm hoping to show you a little bit of colouring as well if we've got a chance. Yeah. I will mix a little bit and pour some in a mould. I'm looking at the time. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see if we can demould it. Right, so again, I'm just going to set that to naught. I'll get a clean cup. I'm afraid I haven't got lots of new wooden spoons to work with. I've had to raid my kitchen for the one I brought. Okay. Just let you know, as Kathryn's doing this, sandstone has now gone limited as well. Oh. White stone limited, sandstone limited. We are starting to lose options, so just making you aware. Right, now I'm going to try and be a little bit more oracular, because I was talking as I did this last time, and I went a little bit too heavy with the liquid and then the powder. So I'm trying to get this bang on 15, which it is. That's 15 grams. I have used this previously because I've just shown you samples, but I've just poured some more. I've still got more to work with there. You know that when you get your powders, you're going to have the right amount of powder to go with the liquid as well, which is amazing because you don't have to worry about running out of one, as long as you get the ratios right, of course. Now I'm just checking, this white stone is 3 parts powder. That's why you get a bigger pot. Okay. So if it's 15 grams, Janice, 3 15s are 45. Yes. I'm correct, aren't I? Yes, but there's already 15 on there because I've got my liquid. 60. So that's 60. So I'm taking this up to 60. I don't know if I made that. Oh, that was so lucky.
Why, it's a 60?
I'm going straight in with that big spoon again, and I'm at 59. Ooh, I thought I was going to have to scoop out.
Smidge.
There we are, 60.
There you go.
There we go. Right, I believe we've had a question about the weight. I believe this is of the finished product. It is heavier than an air dry clay. Well, I say that, depends on the brand of air dry clay. Yeah. The Hearty or the FMM clay that we sell here is super lightweight. It is going to be heavier than that, but it's not as heavy as natural stone. Obviously it's going to depend on the chunkiness, if I can put it that way, of your piece. If it's for card making, definitely these are going to go on cards. I think Leony had a sample actually, didn't she?
If it's a thin mould, so say a thinner, more detailed mould, yes. If it's going to be something like this, no, obviously you're not going to be putting that onto a card. But the sort of Zuri moulds that Kathryn, so Kathryn, you know your Zuri moulds, would they go onto a card?
They could do, yeah, they could do, as long as, if it's a chunkier piece, just make sure that your cardstock is a good construction weight, not a flimsy piece of card. Yeah. Really, it's just common sense, but definitely you could put it onto cards. Okay. Your home decor, this is great for.
100%.
And for me, furniture. Ooh. I like upcycling furniture, so, I would use these as mouldings for my furniture as well. I don't think, the first time I mixed, I told you how long to mix for. It's simple, 30 to 60 seconds, or just make sure there's no lumps in there. And you can see that is lovely and smooth. It really is. Now, it will start to thicken up quite quickly because you can demould some items within 20 minutes. So don't ever mix it and leave it and go off and do something else. Do mix it and use it straight away. Okay. The ratios do vary. I'm going to keep repeating that because it's important, so you do need to make sure you get those right. I'm just going to put some of this into one of these little roses here. So I'm just using my spatula again. And my final mould that I'm going to use is going to be a Zuri one with the gold. So there, I'm just going to put a little bit in, just give that a tap. Again, these are nice firm moulds, so it's important to tap because you need to make sure there's no air bubbles in there. It's
interesting seeing you tapping with this mould as opposed to the first sort of floppy, flimsy mould that you had. You can tell why we hold these moulds in such high regard.
Yes. To be quite honest with you, there's a reason why that mould was never opened before today, because I could tell it wasn't going to be the best quality mould. I honestly don't know where it came from. It's just been stuck in a drawer for a long, long time.
I saw you doing a show, Zuri, and just to remind everyone, we have got a one-day special with Zuri coming up next week.
We have.
I saw you doing a Zuri show a while ago, and you showed something that I thought was a powerful illustration of the quality. You tried to push your finger through the mould, and you're kind of saying the silicone, and there was no whiteness, you couldn't see your finger, and I think that's a good indication of quality.
What it is with silicone, when you hear people say silicone moulds, there's many, many different qualities of silicone, many. Some are food grade, some aren't. That doesn't mean that the non-food grade ones are no good. That's certainly not what I'm saying, but there's things for different jobs, for different reasons. There are also moulds that are classed as silicone moulds that are not all silicone, they've got fillers in there. And you can tell if there's fillers in the moulds because when you push your finger into them, you'll see them go white. So it's just about the quality. There are many, many different qualities out there and you will get different results. Okay. Right, we've had another question, I believe, as well. Can we paint over the white with any sort of paint? Rather than buying the colours. Yes, you can colour it. You could still go over the top with gesso. I've brought some paints. I've brought some inks with me as well. Right. Sorry, not inks, some waxes with me as well. Hopefully I can get to show that. I'm just going to put that to one side to let that to let that set a little bit. Just wipe up that little bit there.
Good. And thank you for all the questions. If you do have, and this is a show where I think Hochanda being a live channel, it really comes into its own. So if you do have any questions, especially for something that we've never brought this to you before, brand new supplier, and we couldn't be happier that we're having a busy show. Any questions, please get in touch and we will always strive to try and find an answer for you.
Okay, right. I will, if I've got time, I'm going to get to the painting. If not, please do tune in at 2 as well, because we'll cover things that we've maybe not had a chance to cover this hour. Also, anything that I can't demould this hour, I will show you then. We'll just see how we go with time. So again, I've got my note on there. Make sure that it's note with my little pot on, so I need to reset that. There we go. So we're back to note. This is the gold. So what I was saying about this, you get your colour, you get your pot of powder. When you open your pot of powder, you will find hidden in there, in the metallics, a little pot. So you'll get different colours for different pots. So the gold, you get a nice gold powder. You could use your bronze in with your gold liquid if you wanted to. Your powder, you don't mix in with the liquid, you're going to use that separately. So I'm just going to set that to one side actually and bring this in first because I don't want that to be setting. So a little pot of powder. I'm just going to get a brush and this is a Zori mould. This is the beautiful peacock.
All right.
And I am just going to dust this with the powder.
Interesting. So we're dusting first with the powder.
Dusting first with the powder, yeah. Now you can overdust because if you overdust, you're forming areas that could be an entrapment for air bubbles. So dust, I mean, it goes a long way. You think, well, there's not a great deal there, but actually it goes such a long way. You can go with a very fine dusting or you can go with a little bit heavier, but you just don't want loose granules in there because it could cause those air bubbles. So once you've done this, give it a little bit of a tap, take out any excess. So I'm just going to do that now. There's 1 or 2 little crumbs there. Do you know, if I was at home, I'd be using those as well, but I haven't got the time. But anyway, there we are.
Don't waste anything, do you? Ooh,
it's really annoying me, Janice, that I've got spare white stone in my cup there that I know is drying now. So I just don't like to see it go to waste. Anyway, right, we'll bring in the little weighing scales again, make sure that's back to naught. And I'm just checking my list because I know the metallics are slightly different. The white stone was 3 parts powder to 1 part liquid. So I'm looking for my gold. It's 1 part liquid to 2 parts powder. There's an indication actually. It works quite well by the size of the pot that you get because obviously with the sandstone, look at the size of the pot, so you know that's going to tell you you're going to put more powder in. But do always check those ratios. So I'm actually going to put in, I don't want to waste. Getting really quite pressured about this. You know why, don't you? Because I've got so many ideas of things I want to do at home. I don't want to run out. I want to go home and play. I'm actually putting 20, I'm risking this because if I get wasted, I'm going to be so annoyed with myself. 20 grams of the liquid. I really need to find a smaller spoon for later as well. 2 parts powder, so there's 20 grams liquid. We're thinking, well, we need 2 lots of that, so that would be 40 grams of powder. And just a reminder, because I've already got 20 on the scale, as I put my powder in, my scales is going to say 60, because there's 20 of liquid and I need 40 of the powder. Look at that, see, I'm getting really good at guessing this. There it is, 60 grams, 60 grams, we're ready to mix. And look, there's tons of powder left. You're going to get a lot more out of this. So let's give it another stir again. And once again, let me just show you this as I start to stir. You can see it's a little bit like baking when you put your eggs in your flour and that sort of thing. So just make sure you give this a really, really good mix. You don't want any lumps whatsoever. You want it nice and smooth. To be honest with you, I've barely seen any lumps any time I've mixed this. Shelf life is a question we get asked about a lot. I will have to check on that. I don't know. But what I will say, knowing that you've got a powder involved here, make sure that you put the tops on right and keep them somewhere where it's not damp. That's just common sense. That's just common sense.
As we're doing this, we will keep you updated on stock levels. Graphite is another one that's proven very popular. 40% of the graphite has gone, and a lot of you are putting the graphite into your basket. Don't forget, we have got that starter kit as well. So starter kit gives you 4 of the very popular options all in one bundle, and we will be showing you that. There's also £4 saving there as well. I mean, the price is already good, but you're getting a £4 saving with your starter kit, $48.96, and you can see you're getting your gold, which Kathryn's working on right now, the concrete, the iron, and the graphite as well. $48.46 your price, saving £4, 914788 your item number.
Right, I started pouring just to try and save a bit of time so that I could show another demonstration, but actually I've just remembered something that I really wanted to show everybody. Okay. If you've got a very, very intricate mould, like the peacock that I'm using from Zori here, in fact any of the Zori moulds, so intricate, what you can do, ignore what I've poured there, what you can do is get a paintbrush and paint into that detail first, so you've got that layer at the bottom, so you're making sure that you pick up absolutely everything. You don't have to do it, it's an option, but I did do that on the first example that I did, and I think, you know, it is wise to do that. Okay. Now the top tip here is, and I've mentioned about clothing, if I just leave that brush now, that is going to dry on there, and I've ruined my brush, and this is a brand new brush that is meant to be saved for next week, so I'm going to pop that in some water.
And it also showcases the fact that this is water-based. Now, as a resin, typically you wouldn't find a water-based resin, so if you're working with a brush, popping it into a glass of water, you can clean it.
Ideally, wash it with soapy water as soon as you can. Mine's just sat in water. If I'd got some soap here, I'd be using that, but obviously demonstration purposes don't allow time to sort of do all that. Same again with your hands. Just a reminder, you can wear gloves. If you're worried about this, do wear gloves. It is safe. It is environmentally friendly for you because it's water-based. There's no smell. Have you noticed? There's absolutely no smell.
Actually, zero smell. Yeah.
Now this is the gold, and you can see that it does look very sort of yellowy. Just going to sort of smooth it over a little bit. I've still got some more in the pot. Now
Shall we do the reveal of this? Can we maybe try it in your 2 o'clock show?
We'll try and do this in the 2 o'clock. There's no way we can do it now because we're getting towards the end of the show. I'm just going to scrape that little bit off there. Right. What I'm going to do, again, important to tap. Zori moulds are so firm. You can really sort of tap these. You're right, with that little one, the little floppy one, when I tapped it, it made some of the liquid sort of spill out. But this, it's not, but it's important that you tap it for the air. I can still see 1 or 2 little gaps there. This shows why it's a really good idea to go with that paintbrush first and just brush into all those little areas. Now, if you do get any overspill onto the edge of your mould, don't worry, it's fine. It's not a problem whatsoever. In fact, I'm going to do that on purpose, look. And I'll show you why in a second. Let me I'm scraping every last drop out.
I can imagine you with a yoghurt, Kathryn. You're not going to she's going to get every last bit out.
Oh, I love my yoghurt as well. Yeah, I am like that. Oh, do you know, you said yoghurt. I've got one of those yoghurt makers. I got it from here. Oh, yeah? I absolutely love it. Yeah. Coconut is my favourite. And I didn't even think I liked coconut. That's what's in my fridge at the moment, coconut yoghurt. Oh, I love it. Love it. Have you ever thought about making your own yoghurt? Definitely do that. Right, okay. I would eat yoghurt every single meal if I could. I'd just love it. Fruit in it, muesli sprinkled on the top, you name it, I'll eat it. Right, okay. So, I did have a little spatula thing. I have no idea where I put it. There it is. If you've got, this is a rubbish thing to use actually, but it's all I could find. If you've got an old credit card or a piece of plastic, something flexible, then you can use that to scrape over the top of your mould. This is actually, I've got this because I do a lot of DIY. This is actually for my silicone around my bath.
Oh yeah, okay.
You know, and you
that's right, it works.
You know, and you put your sealant around the bath and you go around. Yeah, I used to use a finger, and then I found you could get a tool to do the actual job. So that's what I got. Okay. And now it's used for resin for my Zori moulds. There we are. That's all in there. Yeah. Oh, they're all laughing at me now. Let me just bring this one back in, Yanis, just to show you. Leony didn't sort of explained to do this. This is just me. I'm not saying this is right or wrong. It's just what I decided when I was playing. You see where the little spill is there? Once it's started to dry a little bit, I like to just sort of clean up my mould a little bit with a damp cloth. Right. Don't rub over the actual mould itself, but it just makes me feel better somehow because I can see, I can see, and it saves me a job later. I can still wash it, but it just cleans it up and I can see the edge. You see, I shouldn't have done that there because I flexed it before it's had a chance to dry. But anyway. Should
we say then at 2 o'clock, everything that we put into moulds, we'll try and have a go?
We will reveal.
Can we just see some examples that you have done that have already dried, and we'll just have a look. So in front of you, there are some, the white and the sandstone are incredible. So we're just looking at those now. Is that your white or sandstone?
That is sandstone.
Yeah, I know that's been very popular.
The white stone is this one. The terracotta is this one.
Maybe if you put them all next to each other so we can sort of gauge the difference.
Okay.
Look at that. That terracotta is incredible. It's in the colour
It is in the
range,
colour, yeah. Magenta,
you can see that at the bottom of your screen.
Is that one.
Magenta again in the colour at the bottom. It's in options at the bottom of your screen.
That is the one I did before the show. I did demould that when we got going, so that had only been in the mould about 20 minutes, that one. But it's quite a chunky mould, whereas these are much, you can see the depth.
See, that's something, you know, the peacock that you've got there, or the butterfly, that you could put on the card. Well, we kind of had that question, could you put that on a card? But it is heavier than a lightweight sort of clay. I know we've got the air dry clays.
Lovely. Now then, we did talk about putting these outside as well. I know if you want to make something to go outside, it is advisable to seal it.
And we should have that for the next show,
I'm
by the way,
really pleased about that, actually, because
so apologies we couldn't put it on this show, but it will be. So tune in if you have gone for anything and you're thinking, well, actually, I would like to put it outside. We kind of advise you can put it outside, but it is advisable to have that sealer, and we're going to be featuring that at 2 o'clock. So good reason to tune in at 2.
Okay, now just to show you, this is just a butterfly that I did from the Zuri mould. This is Maya Gold paint. Which is a beautiful metallic. We've got these coming on the Zuri show next week. So if you want to paint over the top, you can do. I'm just working that right into the detail there. So yes, it will take your paints as well, your acrylic paint. This is, again, a water-based paint that I've got here with the metallic. It gives the most beautiful sheen when it's dry. You could dry brush over it if you wanted to. I'm trying to work that into the detail there, so as it dries, I can go over the top with a dry brush of another colour. But if you just wanted to dry brush over the top of something, you could do. By that I mean, let me just, I might have a little bit too much on there. Let's just sort of flick that across the top. You need, it's called dry brush for a reason. You need an almost dry brush. And then just kind of flick that across the top, and it brings out the detail on the raised areas.
That, Kathryn, that's really nice.
Yep, so you can do that.
Because you've still got the sandstone underneath coming through as well. That's
you
nice.
Certainly have. I'm just thinking as well, the colours.
The scales that we're using are just general kitchen scales that you might have at home, so nothing special about them whatsoever.
I would advise digital ones rather than, I think most of them are now, because you need to be able to set to naught once you put your cup on top, which digital ones will do that perfectly for you.
You've got like a couple of minutes left, Kathryn. Anything you want to share before we finish?
Very, very quickly, what I'm going to do is just put that brush in there. Yes, another one of my favourite things to do, and we'll do this on, do you know, I've got half a mermaid here. Right. Well, I've got a full mermaid, actually. I tried to demould my mermaid after 20 minutes, and she didn't like it. She's got a very thin waist.
Okay.
I said I'd be honest. Yeah. She's got a very thin waist, and it decided it didn't like it.
You can always glue that back together, but that's one example where we were saying if it is a detailed mould, there are certain moulds we would wait and leave it longer. So that's one example.
I would definitely leave that, if I could, 24 hours to make sure that's really, really set. But I've brought it in because I wanted to be totally honest, but look at the detail again. Every single scale, every piece of the hair, everything is there.
So, you know what I'm thinking, Kathryn, as you're doing this, very, very quickly, we've got the Zuri one-day special coming up next week.
We have.
We're really busy for i1 Creative resin composites, so stock up now because it's something that you're going to maybe want to use with your Zuri moulds next week.
Definitely. Stock up now. Zori molds next week. Absolutely incredible. We've got other products on as well. We've got Viva Decor, we've got Maya Gold, we've got Inca Gold, which I might use again later this afternoon. We've got Elichem resin on as well, the clear resin. That is coming on next week's show as well. So all of those things work beautifully. Nice. And all I've done here with this this is one of my favourite tricks. I do this a lot.
That looks amazing.
It does. Now this is just a black, well it's actually graphite, acrylic paint, and I've watered it down slightly, and then I've painted it directly onto the white stone, because that's what this was. And you have to wipe away quickly, and that will bring out all of the detail, and that gives you another different stone effect.
Love that. Kathryn, time has beaten us. Just a reminder that everything, because it's coming from Holland, it is on extended dispatch. So it's going to be dispatched on the 27th of July. The minute we have it, we will get it straight out to you. So on that 27th, we're posting it straight out. We've been busy for everything. So you've got options, you've got your metallics, your stone effect, your colours, and then there's the iron and the graphite metal effects as well. I really hope you've enjoyed the show. It is something different. Big thank you as well to A1 Creatives and Leony. Kathryn will be back at 2 o'clock. Thanks, Kathryn.
Thank you.
So what we'll do, everything you've seen this hour, we will try and demold at 2 o'clock, so a good excuse to tune in. We're also going to be bringing you that sealer at 2. If you do want to put anything you make outside, sealer is a good option. Thank you for your company.